Welcome to the Salesforce Adventure channel. I'm your host, Stuart Gascoigne. This is a video in the Salesforce Essentials series, and in this video, I'm going to talk about pipeline management. In Salesforce, pipeline management is split into two parts. The first part is lead management, and the second part is opportunity management. You could consider that a lead is an expression of interest in your product or company, or maybe better, you could think of it as a business card that someone gave to you as a result of a casual conversation. If the lead meets the qualification criteria, then it can be converted into an opportunity, which is the true start of the selling process. Having obtained a lead, we do some initial qualification. In my case, a well-qualified lead is someone who is either a Salesforce user or a potential Salesforce user. Although I should mention that I also use leads as a quick way of entering partners and suppliers into Salesforce. Let's look at the lead management process first. So go to Setup, go to the Object Manager, and select the lead object. Go to Field and Relationships. The steps in the lead management process are recorded in the lead status field. Out of the box, the lead status field has some predefined values, but I wanted to make some changes. Let's have a look at those. So, in my process, qualified in means that the lead has met the qualification criteria. In my case, because I'm trying to sell Salesforce services, it means that the person or the company that is the subject of the lead is a Salesforce user. Qualified out means that they will never be a Salesforce user. I've added an extra stage called future for leads that cannot be qualified in for now, but may be in the future. For example, a Salesforce trainee or student might in the future go on to be a Salesforce user. So I want to communicate with them during my marketing nurturing process. The leads that go on to be converted become opportunities. In fact, conversion generates 3 new linked records. To understand this, let's go back to the idea of a lead being a business card. So I'm going to go back to the app. On the front of the card, you would have some information about an individual, e.g. their name, phone number, etc. There would also be some information about their company or organization. And on the back of the card, maybe some scribbled information about the product or service that they are interested in. On conversion, the company information goes to the account record. The information about them as an individual goes into the contact record, and the information about products or services that they're interested in goes into the opportunity record. And it is the opportunity record that we use for managing the sales process. The reason we have 3 separate types of records, or objects as Salesforce call them, is that if we identify further opportunities or individuals, we want to be able to attach them to the account record. The steps for the opportunity management process are recorded using the opportunity stage field. Out of the box, Salesforce has a number of predefined values in the stage field, but I'm again going to adapt them to match my sales process. So let's have a look at that in an opportunity. So I'll look at a sample opportunity here, Backpackers Inc. In order to clarify when an opportunity can move from one stage to the next, I've used the Salesforce Path Facility and Guidance for Success, and that's over here. So if I go to this stage here, qualify. Starting at the qualify stage, I need to establish, first of all, that they have a need for our services. In other words, that they have a problem that they want to solve, and by budget, I mean they're willing to pay for a solution. To indicate that the criteria are met, I've chosen to use checkboxes, which are custom fields that I've actually created on the opportunity object. So that when I'm acting in my role as sales manager and I'm looking at opportunities, if a box is ticked, it means that I have a high level of confidence that the criteria has been met. So having met the qualify criteria, I move on to the discover stage. In the discover stage, we have 4 criteria that must be satisfied before we can move on to the next stage. First of all, we need to understand the scope of the project in sufficient detail that both we and the prospect agree that it is a good fit for us. For example, that the piece of work is of the right size. The second criteria is timescale. By this, I mean confidence that the close date for the opportunity is correct. So if in this example, I'm estimating that the deal will close on the 31st of March, 2021, that I have a high level of confidence that that is the date that a decision will be made, whether it's in our favor or in a competitor's favor. The third criteria is the decision criteria. And that means that we understand the decision process. Who is involved in it? What are the factors that will be considered? And ideally, that we've actually spoken to the decision maker. Although for some smaller projects, it may be, in my case, that we can rely on a gatekeeper such as an administrator to obtain the decision for us. There is a fourth criteria, which is that a proposal must have been issued. Next, we move on to the evaluate stage. The outcome of this stage is that we need to be the preferred supplier. And to achieve that, we're going to communicate the value of our proposition through meetings, presentations, maybe even some requotes, phone calls and emails. Next is the negotiate stage. And during this stage, we're going to finalize the scope, issue an SOW with detailed pricing, and agree the start date and terms and conditions, and obtain the order. From there, hopefully we move to close one and we can now schedule the kickoff meeting. Or if unfortunately, we may lose the deal, in which case we move to close loss, in which case we log the reasons why we lost the deal. I've defined 5 reasons why we might have lost the deal so that I can do later analysis. So let's have a quick look at them. Competitor. I would expect that to happen at the evaluate stage, although it could happen earlier. But it should not be selected if the real reason is a poor fit, which we should have established earlier in the process. This is important. There's no point persisting with an opportunity where we are a poor fit from either our point of view or from the prospect's point of view. So the quicker that's established, the less time that we're wasting, both of our time and our prospect's time. It could be postponed. That could happen at any time. It could even happen in the negotiate stage, although I would expect by the time we got there, we should have a fairly strong commitment on behalf of the customer to go ahead. But suddenly situations can change, and a project could be postponed. If the postponement means the opportunity has moved outside our normal sales cycle, but it could still be in our financial year, then we can move the close date. But if it's going to move outside our financial year, then it should definitely be closed loss, and the reasons lost should be postponed, and a task should then be allocated against the account so that so that the prospect is then recontacted in the next financial year. There could be no need. So they might have a problem, but it's maybe not a problem that they can justify fixing. It could be that there is no budget, which is allied to no need. Generally, if a problem is causing enough pain, people will find the money for a solution. But sometimes, even though there is a need to solve a problem, a company directive can kill the budget. So there could be a freeze on spend, for example. We should definitely not be moving beyond qualify unless it is established that a budget can be found. So that's it. That's my sales process, and I would encourage you to think about your sales process in similar terms. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want to be notified of future videos, please subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.